Hi, ISCEA judges. First of all, we really appreciate the opportunity that was given to us to participate. I am Lukas Mardhi, and today I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm here as a part of Team ELIT. We are proud to represent Indonesia in this year's ISCEA Global Supply Chain Competitions. ELIT Team consists of 4 of us: myself, Edward Cesario, Irawan Budi Utomo, and Tenaka Budiman. Although 4 of us are all industry practitioners in logistics and supply chain industry that have accumulated over 75 years of combined experience among us, but we're still very hungry to learn. We love to explore new ideas, challenging old assumptions, and staying sharp with the latest innovations and trends. This curiosity that brought us here, and what drives everything that we are about to share with all of you. This case is about a journey on how Michelin would like to achieve its climate growth net zero emissions by 2050, which Michelin cannot do it alone, but need to work together hand in hand with ExxonMobil's, Berhad, and Duke Energy. The strategy will be to set up supply chain sustainability cooperation agreements, which is we call CSCM, which enable Michelin to ensure its supplier collective progress towards decarbonization. We sincerely believe this is not only a supply chain case study, but also a boardroom priority. There are some key insights to determine SGSCA. One of them would be baseline. There are several baselines, but we need to establish 2019 as a baseline and to ensure performance moving forward to the future. Number 2, Pareto focus. Michelins need to understand which Pareto and their focus to improve their CO2 reduction, which is ExxonMobil's and Berhad can help them in there. Number 3, in terms of renewable and circular solutions, Duke Energy and Berhad can help them in this, which is the low-hanging fruits in terms of solutions. Among 3 of them, we combine together, then we need to have reporting standards, which ISCEA 3000 assure having standard reporting moving forward to the future. And we combine all of them with incentive, with contract agreements between all the performance scorecards and supplier incentive. This will be a foundation on setting up SGSCA. With this, I'll pass it to my colleague, Pak Tenaka Budiman. The floor is yours.
Okay, in this slide, we would like to explain what Michelin goal net zero by 2050. In this case, we have 3 metrics. Each metric has a target and implication. For metric scope 1 and 2, the target is minus 50% by 2030 versus 2010 base year. Metric number 2, scope 3, absolute minus 27.5% by 2030. Number 3, the metric governance. The target is 70% of suppliers by emission have science-based target. And the second slide for Michelin goal net zero by 2050, based on the current progress of Michelin, we would like to propose the 5 focus area. For each area, we have 5 KPI, and we can see on the table which its KPIs we have target. For target alignment, the target is 100%. The KPI is percentage of supplier with line 1.5 degree Celsius degree based CGHG targets. For focus area, common baseline and methodology, the target is more than 95% alignment, which the KPI is alignment score in GHG inventory audit. Number 3, for focus area, data quality and verification, the KPI, there are 3 data audit variance, which the target is less than 3%. KPI number 2, data latency, time between reporting and availability, the target is less than 1 month. And number 3, the KPI percentage of scope 1 plus 2 data externally assured, the target is 100%. For focus area number 4, incentive and accountability, the target is greater and equal to 20% of total spend by 2028. The KPI is spent under carbon-linked supplier contract. And target number 2 is greater and equal to 80% threshold with the KPI average supplier carbon performance score. And the last focus area is government and data sharing, which the KPI is on-time reporting rate, which the target is greater and equal to 90%. And the KPI number 2, issue closure rate from CSG tracking, which the target is 100% within 30 days. And for the ExxonMobil roles the primary provider of energy and chemical feedstocks. And there are 3 metrics. And the target is for scope N1, 20 anti-30 reduction in CHG intensity by 2030. The implications, the target are intensity-based potential allowing absolute emission, Michelin's S3 liability to rise with production. And metric number 2, reporting integrity, the target is report SD category 11 estimates. And the implication disclosures voluntary and unassured failing miscellaneous 20%, 70% SBT mandate. It is high risk. And metric number 3, actionable lever, accelerating as the target, CC use and sustainable fuel feedstock. And the implication in need joint investment, offtake agreements to secure very viable low carbon product streams. And for the backyard roles is key provider of steel cord, a significant input for tires. And also for backup, there are 3 metrics, scope 1 and 2, scale barrier, and mitigation action. Especially for scope 1 and 2, the target is absolute minus 46.2%, and the implication is alignment target which are SBTi validated. For metric number 2, scale barrier, the target is significant capex required for shifting to low CO2 production, which is it is renewable energy instead of coal. The implication is backup needs long time guaranteed demand commitment to justify investment required to scale new technology. And the last metric is mitigation action, which the implication is miscellaneous to sign longer contract to ensure and guarantee demand. And for Duke Energy roles, provider of electricity to miscellaneous US or domestic manufacturing facilities. Also, they have 3 metrics. The target for scope 1 is net zero by 2050. The implication, strong commitment tied to regulated grid cleaned up location based. For metric number 2, scope 2 and 3, 50% as the target, 50% reduction below 2021 levels by 2035. The implication is decarbonization pace is regulated and short-term grid fluctuation are anticipated as coal is retired. And the last is actionable level, which the target is negotiate future power purchase agreements, VPPAs, or green power agreements, GPAs. The implication is the agreements are necessary to secure market-based scope 2 reporting and claim immediate reduction for miscellaneous. And for the next slide will be explained by my colleague, Mr. Edward Cesario. Thank you.
We identify the central challenge, miscellaneous net zero emission higher entirely on managed scope 3 emission. At this slide, scope 1 direct inventory conversion accounts for a minor 10 to 15% of total GHG. Scope 2 purchase energy is 10 to 20%, and scope 3, driven by upstream raw materials, account for stretching 60 to 70% of the total carbon footprint. This means the performance of our 3 primary upstream suppliers, ExxonMobil, Baker, and Duke Energy, is non-negotiable for success. Moving to the data on this slide. We quantify dependency. Michelin-owned scope 1 and 2 emission are approximately 3 billion tons of CO2 equivalent. However, the project scope 3 impact that we must control is 12.6 million tons. Furthermore, the combined scope 3 emission from our major partners, particularly ExxonMobil, are exponentially larger. This proves that we cannot internalize our way to net zero. Instead, our strategy must enforce radical decarbonize across all supplier base. This analysis leads us to specific decarbonization levers required on this slide. For Exxon, which contributes 35 to 40% of impact, the levers include transition to bio-based feedstock and investing in carbon capture storage enable refining. For Baker and Steel, responsible for 25% of the impact, we demand the use of electric arc furnace powered by renewable electricity. Finally, Duke Energy must secure green power agreement to control 15% scope 2 impact. This specific enforcement technical demands from the core of our solution. However, enforcing this crucial lever is impossible without the structural alignment. Our top 5 analysis reveals several misalignment in 5 areas, including targets, data, and contracts. Our action plan addresses this immediately. All targets must align with science-based targets initiative for 1.5 degrees Celsius trajectory. We must align the various calculations based on 2019 and standardize all data through the ISO 3000 verification protocols. Crucially, we propose the integration of carbon KPIs directly into supplier procurement contracts by 2028. To ensure execution, this slide establishes clear ownership and measurable KPI for each gap. For data quality, the procurement data team will track audit variance below 3%. The procurement director will own the contract integration, demanding a supplier carbon performance score of 80% as the threshold as preferred supplier status. By mitigating these 5 gaps and harmonized baseline, we deliver over 90% data comparability and transparent, auditable scope 3 tracking. This roadmap is path to achieving our goal. Beginning in Q1 2026, we'll sign the Supply Chain Sustainability Cooperation Agreement and form the Cooperation Steering Group. The critical work of baseline and target alignment will be achieved across all parties by Q2 2026. Data portal will be go live through 2027, followed by setup of the carbon link scorecard. Everything culminates in the contractual enforcement by Q1 2028, ensuring we hit our definitive 47% reduction target by 2030. Our strategy is not only ambitious, but fully governed, visible, and guarantees net zero success.
Okay, so I will continue related to the topic Supply Chain Sustainability Cooperation Agreement. So this is also one of the important topic from the Meselin and also the strategic supplier. So what we think is this joint agreement that can accelerate the carbonization, data transparency, and circular innovation across Meselin mobility value chain. And the agreement should be covered related to the GSGS measurement and reporting, data sharing verification, the carbonization project, performance management, and also governance. So also in the table below, as you can see that we define kind of structure way, 3 level. First, the cooperation steering group. So this will be the senior sustainability and operation executive, and frequency what we think is quarterly, and the technical working team. This is what data LC and process engineer about the SGSG harmonization and project design should be monthly, and also assurance and audit committee. So this ESG executive and independent verifier will be related to the audit, and KPI should be the annual. Yeah, and then also what we think is the agreement should be also require focus and dedicated resources with the below role. First, the Meselin should be lead coordinator, platform owner of human integration, and also ExxonMobil should be low carbon feedstock, CCS, energy transition and R&D, and also Becker about sustainable steel innovation and recycling initiative, and also Duke Energy about the renewable energy expansion and on-site electrification support. So and the agreement should be effective from 2026 until 2030 with the annual review and amendment by the consensus of the steering committee. And what we think also in the KPI should be some in the agreement should be some KPI that cover focus area about the target alignment, about the percentage of supplier with aligned with 1.5% based on GSG target. The target should be 100% by 2027, and common baseline and methodology related alignment score in the GSG inventory audit. The target is more than 95% alignment, and data and quality verification related data audit variance, data latency, and also percent of scope 1+2 data external issue, and also related to incentive and accountability. So this is related to the spend under carbon link with supplier contract, and also create supplier carbon performance score, and governance and visibility related to on-time reporting rate and issue close rate. So these are the KPI in the table should be included in the agreement. And also what we think is important to have the risk mitigation. So we define kind of risk category, root cause, potential impact, mitigation strategy, and also the primary owner. So we define first the strategic alignment risk. This is what we see. The root cause could be the inconsistent target and baseline across partner. So the mitigation should be the adopt 2019 as a baseline as under the agreement, and harmonize the scope definition and require SBTI 1.5 degree target alignment by 2027, and annual joint review with via the CSG. And the second about the operational and data and technology risk. So fragment data system and inconsistent verification. So it should be a deploy as a digital dashboard with automated data upload and enforce the ISCEA 3000 assurance and quarterly data TWT data quality check. And also about the financial and investment cost risk. So of course this is high investment, so there will be a potential delay in technology adoption and also not achieving the target. So the mitigation should be introduced co-funded pilot scheme with the miscellaneous supplier, and 6 the green bond or blend finance support, and link the contract bonus to verify the CO2 reduction. And also the other risk mitigation that we think is important about the regulatory or policy. So this is what we need to be compliant, or the impact could be non-compliant or misalignment. So we need to let's say the mitigation strategy should be aligned the reporting with the protocol, with the CBM standard, and conduct also annual policy impact review. And also use camera planning tool to share the dashboard. And also the supply chain disruption risk about the shortage or raw material or renewable energy intermittency. So the impact could be the production downtime. So I think the dual sourcing is the most important, and maintain buffer inventory of recycled input and long-term PPA with the Duke Energy. And reputational risk also kind of the risk that we need to take care. So should be the investor confidence lose and lower ESG rating. So the mitigation should be transparent quarterly reporting to the CSG dashboard, and third-party communication audit, crisis response plan, and unified data messaging. And also in general that what we see is the conclusion should be the Meselin net zero ambition is collective challenge that should not be seen as internal. Meselin winning together roadmap transform the misalignment gap into strategic, commercial impact, cooperation opportunity. So by implementing the 3 pillars, the SCCS governance, coordinate execution, and integrated accountability, it should be ensured that the decarbonization is no longer at cost center, but a source of the shared value, resilience, and long-term competitive advantage for all 4 parties. Thank you.